Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
So good, so good, so good.
New fall arrivals are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Get ready to save big with up to 60% off brands like Vince, Steve Madden, Kate Spade New York, and Boss. Stock up on the latest trends like animal print, lace, and suede. Join the Nordy Club for free to unlock exclusive discounts, shop clearance, and new arrivals before anyone else, and so much more. Plus, you can buy online and then pick up your order at your favorite Rack store. It's fast and free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. So happy you decided to join us. Before we jump in today, I'd like, first of all, if you're liking these podcasts, if you like this one or the 5-Minute Basketball Coaching Podcast or High School Hoops or the Funnel Down Defense Podcast, if you like any of those, go over and check them out. Leave a 5-star review. We love sending them out to the world. It's one of my passions in the world is kind of share this game. But before we jump in, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market. It's easy to set up. It's got great customer service, and they are always on the cutting edge of giving players and coaches what they need. And that's why I love them. They not only give stuff away. If you go over and look at Dr. Dish is always giving stuff away and sharing with the community. And that's why I want to share them with you. Mention Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $400 off. That's right, $400 off. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's the one-stop shop for basketball coaches. 14-day free trial. No one else does that. No one else gets the cell phone number and the email for the runner. No one else is being run by a high school coach for a high school coach. This is what I do. This is what I do. I'm not running this other thing. I'm not a businessman. I'm a high school basketball coach trying to help you become a better basketball coach. And to be honest with you, I've done pretty well in my career, and I'd like to share that with other coaches. So go over and check it out, and let's head off to the podcast. I'll record this. So over in the chat, why don't you put where you're from so I can get an idea of, so Maine. Well, we love, hi, Lee. Amy sent me an email about you, but I think you already responded to it. New Jersey, Arkansas, Albuquerque, Georgia, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Michigan, Kentucky, Missouri, Minnesota, good. No, Wisconsin. Ooh, there's a Marshfield. We're going to have to watch the Marshfield person. I don't like sharing this stuff with the people in Wisconsin. What we got? Colorado, Kansas, Mississippi, MISSISSIPPI, upstate New York. If any of you have listened to my podcast before, you know there are two places. Missouri. All right, awesome. There are two places that I have not been. Two states I have not been in the U.S. Alaska and Washington State. Those are the two states that I have not personally visited. Some of them have been quick in and outs, but let's see if we got a Missouri. San Diego. Well, that's not James either. San Diego, that's on my bucket list. I've been to California multiple times. All right, I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes. Sorry about the change of time. I know there's some people that are going to have to watch this on replay. Hey, Dave. There's some people that are going to have to watch this on replay because I moved it later. My daughter was helping put on a play tonight, and I wanted to go watch it. So, of course, it was at the exact time that I had scheduled this like a month ago. So that's the way it works. It is what it is. But it was great. It was Matilda. I've got that song in my head now. New York City. Ooh. New York City. Yay. Go New York. I love New York. Love Chicago. All right. If everybody can mute, I think we're good on everyone muted. I'm going to go through and check everybody. And what I'm going to do is just a couple things. If you want to take really good notes, turn things off. That would be great. Both your volume on the bottom and we'll have a Q&A at the end. We'll either do it in the chat or I'll let people just kind of jump in at the end if you have a Q&A. If you have any questions, I can definitely answer all of those. But I'm going to go through, and again, I'm a basketball coach, not a technician in those. So I'm not even going to go to presenter mode when I do this. I am going to just show you my PowerPoint. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to discuss the rule of three and kind of share it with you, just kind of talk about it. I am recording it. So tomorrow I'll send a replay for you. I'll keep the replay up until Sunday with all that stuff. And then, a couple other little tidbits. Or people are coming in late. I'm just having you put where you are from on the side. And that would be great. Okay. So I'm going to close this up. And again, for the people coming late, I apologize for changing the time. That was definitely 1,000% not in my plans, but Matilda was good. My daughter was she wants to be on Broadway someday, and she was helping direct and do all that. So it was good. It was really good. I snuck out. I didn't see the end, but I snuck out. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to talk about the rule of three. I've kind of teased out what this is. I'm going to give you a little history behind it. I'm going to talk about how I came up with it, where I started, and where I am. And then, like I said, hang on to the end. At the end, we'll do some Q&A, and then take notes, pause, anything like that. I will try to get to the chat. Again, me and technology sometimes doesn't always work, but I will do my best on the chat. And as I let people kind of in here, if you have something dying, I saw Dave raised his hand over there. Dave, if you have a question, I don't know if you raise your hand for a question, but if you do, put it over in the chat and I can try to answer it. But you can raise your hand and do all that. I don't necessarily always see that because I'm kind of in my zone, my teaching zone. So sometimes I see it and sometimes I don't. All right. I'm much better at Zoom, though, post-COVID. I can tell you that. All right. So let me share my screen. I'm going to talk about, and again, I'm not going to do presenter mode. It's just a little bit easier for me. I'm just going to pop up the PowerPoint. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to talk about the rule of three offense. I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm a basketball coach. It's like if I was more creative, I probably would have come up with a better name, but it kind of tells what I wanted to do. Okay. Can somebody, if you can see where it says rule of three, it says Steve Collins and John Morgan. If someone can unmute and say they can see that, let me know. That would be great.
Got it.
Perfect.
Got it. Yes.
Awesome. All right. So rule of three. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to click through. I'm going to go through to this screen right here. All right. So I'm a stats teacher. Any of you that listen to podcasts, I'm a stats teacher. So I'm always looking at numbers. I'm always looking at effectiveness. I'm always looking at how things are kind of working. And I've had wide range of teams. I've had teams that I could do something at 3:30 and they would know it by 3:35. I've also had teams I could do it at 3:30 and they would never understand it ever. So I've had the widest range of teams that you can imagine. So why the rule of three? How did this come about? Well, I've had a stretch, not recently, but I had a stretch where we were running. 30 years ago, when I won my first state title, I was a flex coach. I was running the flex swing, kind of a variation, very structured offense. 15 years ago, that's what I was running. And I've morphed into different things because, first of all, I think the game has changed. First of all, I think the players have changed. I've changed. I think you have to change with the times. So I went to a little bit of Princeton. I went to a little bit of dribble drive. I went to a lot of read and react. I think Rick is a master. But all of them had things that we couldn't do. Okay. We couldn't effectively attack them. And maybe it was my teaching, maybe it was the players, I don't know, but we just couldn't do it. So they couldn't remember everything. We'd run plays and all that kind of stuff. So the forgetting curve, this is for days. There are two types of memories. And if you see me, I'm in my library. This is where all this kind of came from. So I started doing some digging on memory. And there are two types of memory. There's long-term memory and there's working memory, short-term memory or working memory. Okay. And this forgetting curve, I just thought it looked cool, but that's more long-term memory when you retain things. So what I need my players to do is have that working memory, right? Because when we're running our offense, it doesn't seem like they have this problem on the defensive end. It does seem to be a problem on the offensive end. So how did the rule of three come about? Well, we were running the read and react, and I think I've had Rick on my podcast like 3 or 4 times. And if you know anything about the read and react, it's similar to like some of the more complicated, like Princeton. There's like 77. I'm not kidding. There are so many layers to the read and react. Do this, then you do this, then you do this and this. And my guys, we tried to implement it with a very bright team, actually, a basketball IQ team, and we couldn't do it. So that's when I dove into the rule. That's when I drove into memory, and why can't they do this? Okay. So I talked about the scientific of memory. One of them is called working memory, short-term memory. So I basically I dove into why couldn't my guys remember? Well, if you know anything about short-term memory and you know anything about learning, kids remember things in chunks, right? 3 to 5. So the study that I found, the best one is studies have shown the underlying limit of central component memory is typically 3 to 5 chunks. Now, I can give you tons of examples of that. Think about your phone number. When phone numbers first came out, they were 7 digits, right? No one could remember them. No one remembers phone numbers now anyway, but they couldn't remember phone numbers, so they broke it up, right? 3 area codes, 3 numbers, first 3 numbers, last 4 numbers. So security numbers, 2, 3, 4, right? It's 3, 2. It's 3, 2, 4. They break it into chunks. That's how you remember things. When they ask for your at least me, when they ask for my last 4 digits, my social security number, I have to work through the chunks to get to the last 4. Everything, it tends to be in groups of 3. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Just do it. Finger licking good. Everything. Do these 3 things when you go through TSA. Everything tends to be in chunks of 3. Or 3 to 5, but 3 with my guys, we needed to go to 3. So there's science behind why I'm calling this the rule of 3, basically, is what I'm telling you. I want them to, on the offensive end, to only have to remember 3 things. That's it. Just 3 things. And if they can remember 3 things, then they will be set. Now, think about basketball. Everything in nature, it tends to be in groups of 3 too. If you think about when a basketball player catches the ball, they can only do 3 things. So if I have the ball in my hand, I can only do 3 things. I can shoot, I can dribble, and I can pass. There's really only 3 things. Obviously, the offense is a lot more but everything tends to be in groups of 3. Okay, I'm not sure why in nature and all that, but everything tends to be in groups of 3. So that's how the rule of 3 came about. I was literally struggling with the read and react. It was too complicated. There were too many things. So John Morgan, who's one of my assistants, and myself came down and said, we need to get this so simplified that they can just do these. And what it's done for us is it's opened up practice time. We're just teaching them specific things to do. And then we drill the crud out of those things. Because if you think about it, you're either on the ball, you're off the ball. There's specific spots that you are on the floor, and that's it. And, when you do this, you can basically, when you have the ball, what can you do? And what do you do when you do this? There's only 3. So we found that their memory is much faster remembering. It's simplifying. You can run this, and I'll explain. You can run it with we'll probably run, I'm trying to think of this year's team. We'll probably run a 5 out, and we'll probably run a 4 out. But you can even put 2 inside. It helps in transition. It helps in all the things. But it basically simplifies down to a 3x5 card. I think I have one here. I don't have one with a thing, but a 3x, you can get everything they need to know on this 3x5. So by week 2, we're working on drill work. We're working on reads. We're working on those kind of things. And it simplifies a lot. So basic concept, 5 spots. I'm just going to briefly talk about the 5 out because that's what we've run recently. But like I said, you can run it as a 4 out. You can run it as a 3x2. You basically fill the 5 spots. Everybody moves on passes. Every overplay is a back door. That is probably the hardest read to drill, is when someone overplays and denies that back door cut. So we drill that a lot. That's not a natural read for them. A natural read is pass and cut to the basket. That will take you 30 minutes to teach them that. You pass and you cut to the basket. That's not a hard read. The back door, the overplay is a hard read. So you really got to drill that to get into that point. We did the 3 dribble max. Again, rule of 3 dribble max. If 3 had the ball here and was attacking, if you can't get to the rim or have something create in 3 dribbles, you're probably dribbling too much. We're going to dribble a little bit more this year just because we have a better team and we can attack. Cuts are based on reads. You keep the lane open. We want to keep the middle area open. And again, you can run it as a 4x1. You can even run it as a 3x2. It gets a little bit more crowded in there in a 3x2, but it will work with all of those different kind of reads. The advantage. So why do I like it? Why is a coach that's run the flex, has run the swing, has run the triangle, has run the read and react, has run the dribble drive, has run all these things and won a lot of games? Why do I like it? Okay. We still have plays. We'll still have a couple sets. I call them quick hitters. We'll still have a couple sets that we'll use to score.
Low energy, unfocused, foggy. You might be dehydrated. Gatorade Zero powders have been scientifically designed to help improve hydration balance in the body. With a clinically proven electrolyte blend and no artificial colors or flavors. Great tasting hydration no matter where you're going. Shop now online or at retailers nationwide. Gatorade, hydrates better than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
So good, so good, so good.
New fall arrivals are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Get ready to save big with up to 60% off brands like Vince, Steve Madden, Kate Spade New York, and Boss. Stock up on the latest trends like animal print, lace, and suede. Join the Nordy Club for free to unlock exclusive discounts, shop clearance, and new arrivals before anyone else, and so much more. Plus, you can buy online and then pick up your order at your favorite Rack store. It's fast and free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Absolutely. We won't have 12 of them. We'll have 2 or 3 of them because, again, rule of 3. Maybe we need a high-low or maybe we need a quick 3, something. But they don't have to memorize things. So it's at least in our league, I have to spend more time defensively trying to stop you than I'm necessarily going to have to do on the offensive end. So I don't have to spend quite as much time in the offensive end. I'm actually going to tape a podcast on this, and I've said this multiple times. There are basically 4 things in basketball. You're on offense, you're on defense, you're transitioning to offense, and you're transitioning to defense. There's only 4 things that happen in a basketball game, right? Offense, defense, transition, defense. That's it. It's the only 4 things that happen. I'm telling you, as a coach that's done this for 30 plus years, I spent way too much time on one of those 4. And the one I've spent too much time on is on just offense. I haven't spent enough time. Now, the last 4 or 5 years, I've done much better, but I've spent too much time on just offense, half-court offense, maybe even transition, maybe a little bit of transition, but not enough time on half-court defense, which you do set up a lot, transition to defense, and transition to offense. So the goal of this is I can spend more time on these 3 things because most people don't. Most people are spending a lot of time on their half-court offense. And when I teach them this, I don't have to spend as much time on the half-court offense. I just don't. It's observational study from a stats teacher, but I don't have to do it because they know it. Now, do we always do it right? No, but I can go work on skill work. I can go work on breakdowns. I can go work on reads, which will correlate to what they're supposed to do on the offensive end. So it saves a lot of time. Me, I'm trying to get more skill work. I'm trying to get more shots up. I'm trying to save time because those 4 areas are what I got to work on in practice. I got to work on situations and maybe our combination defense and maybe, our last 2-minute play, whatever. I get it. We all have to work on those. But the 4 are where they should fall. Right. Right. So that's the first thing. I don't want them to memorize. I don't want to spend time. Here's your 6 plays. Here's your offense. Here's your I don't want to do that. I want to tell them, give them some basic rules that, like I said, fit on this 3x5, and boom, you're good to go. All right. I want them to learn how to read and react. As I said, it's hard to scout. When I got my 5, when I have all of them clicking, it is really hard to scout because they're reads and they do one of you overplay me, I'm backdooring. You do this, I'm doing this. I'm doing one of these 3 things. I'd give my 3x5 to everybody in my league. I don't care. Go ahead. You got to get ready for it. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to trap, maybe you'll zone. Yeah, there's counters to all of that. Simplicity wins. And we live in a TikTok world. So I'm going to tell you. And short is better, quick is better, efficient is better. It just is. I mean, yeah, it's the stuff the way I could run practice 15 years ago and just drill the crud out of swing or I can't do it anymore because I don't think the type of players that are coming through are able to do it. So it's simple or as complex as if you want to make it super complex, you can layer it. You can do tons of stuff. I tend to stay in the 3x5. I have some counters to when people do specific things. So like I said, here's how simple it is. A 3x5. I've broken it down. You're either got the ball, you're off the ball, or in the weak side. You're one of 3 areas. And then there's some basic rules, kind of like I talked on the top. So on the top of the 3x5, I put the basic rules and I give them, I don't think I have one of those 3x5s. But on the top, I have that. And then at the bottom, I have, you have the ball. Here are the 3 things. You have this, you have these 3 things. And that's what we drill. That's eventually, if you like this and want to go further with it, that's where the drills come in, and all that stuff. But so passers options. So I just passed. Okay. So I'm going to give you a taste of what I'm talking about. So this is one option. I had the ball and I just passed it. So if I go back up here, I'm 1 and I just passed the 3. Okay. So 1 has the ball. They bring it up. They pass it to 3. There are 3 things that you can do. First is you can cut to the basket. Okay. Cut to the basket means I'm cutting to the basket and I'm putting my head under the rim. I'm going as low as I'm going to score. That's the first thing you can do. Second thing is you can screen or pick the nearest man. Okay. So if I'm 1 and I pass the 3, my screen is the 2. Simple. Okay. Then the last thing I can do is I call them slips. Okay. They're basically a fake screen and then a cut. Or you can pop. You can replace for a 3. Those are the only 3 things that you can do. You can cut to the basket. You can screen the nearest man because there's always going to be a nearest man. Or you can fake screen, which is going to work better after you screened a couple of times, and then slip, which you'll get a basket. Or you can pop. You can fake and pop back up. Okay? 3 things. That's it. Okay? Then when the receiver gets it, what do the weak side people do? So we're going to add to those things. What do you need to drill? Okay. What do you need to drill to get good at this offense? You need to teach how to set screens, which is going to be something after this beta version I'm going to add. Okay. Once I start practicing and get some stuff, I'm going to show you about some screening and pausing. So how to sketch screens, how to use picks, right? One of the key things with using screens, and this is what I tell the person coming off the screen, not the screener, the person coming off the screen, I make them stop. The first month of practice, when you're coming off the screen, I have the screener and the offensive player like right next to each other, and it will be a better to show it visually. But I have them stop. I have them literally stop because then they can read, is it a curl? Is it a pop? Is it a slit? What are you going to do off that screen? Because what happens is there's this big gap the size of the Grand Canyon between the screener and the person coming off it, and it never works. So I literally make them stop so they're shoulder to shoulder. And then we talk about reads, and we do different types of reads. We talk about curls. We talk about pops. Anyway, and then how to slip. Okay, slip is, remember, fake screen. Boop, slip. So we work on that. Those are the fundamentals that we break down. How to set screens, how to use screens, and how to slip. You'd be surprised how long those three things take, right? If you're doing all these other things offensively, you're not even, this is what I call the ABCs. This is what I call the basics. This is if you're going to take calculus class, you better learn to add first. If you can't set screens and you can't read screens and you can't slip or fake screen, then it doesn't matter what offense you're going to run. I'm just going to be honest. So the offense is simple enough that it gives me time to go practice those. It gives me time to rep those in practice. Because think about the teams that you see, how many are good screeners? How many are good at reading the screens? My guess is it would be a relatively small number. So I think that's an important read. Next thing